Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to discuss the iconic 1981 psychological horror film, The Silence of the Lambs. This movie, based on Thomas Harris's novel, is a chilling exploration of the mind of a serial killer and the brilliant detective determined to stop him. So sit tight as we dive into this gripping thriller. The film begins with Clarice Starling, a young FBI trainee, who is called by Jack Crawford, the head of the behavioral science unit, to assist in a case. Crawford asks her to interview Dr. Hannibal Lecter, a notorious serial killer and former psychiatrist. Lecter, known as Hannibal the Cannibal, earned his infamous nickname due to his habit of murdering and then eating his victims. Crawford warns Clarice to be cautious and avoid sharing personal details with Lecter, as he is a master manipulator and understands the human mind very well. In the next scene, Clarice visits Baltimore Hospital where she meets Dr. Chilton. Dr. Chilton explains Hannibal's history and warns Clarice about the dangerous nature of her upcoming interview. At the hospital, Clarice is introduced to Lecter, who has a calm and composed demeanor in stark contrast to his horrific crimes. As the two converse, Lecter probes her mind and offers psychological insights, subtly testing Clarice's own psychological resilience. Lecter speaks of Buffalo Bill, another serial killer who has been skinning his victims. He asks Clarice why she believes criminals keep trophies from their victims, hinting that perhaps it is a way to relive their crimes. Clarice explains that it's a psychological compulsion. Lecter, however, makes it clear that he doesn't keep trophies. He consumes his victims. As Clarice prepares to leave, another inmate, a fellow patient of Lecter, begins to act aggressively towards her. Lecter offers her a moment of respite, and just before she leaves, he cryptically tells her to look deep within yourself. Clarice is soon involved in a larger investigation as she uncovers clues that might lead to finding Buffalo Bill. During her search, she discovers that Buffalo Bill has been operating under the radar for years. Clarice's determination to catch him only deepens as she begins to understand the twisted psychology behind these killers. Clarice returns to Dr. Hannibal Lecter and discusses her findings. She tells him that she has shifted from one line of investigation to another, but in doing so, she has realized that the owner of the storage unit, where she found the girl's mannequin and the severed head, was none other than Lecter himself. He is the one who murdered the Miss Moffat victim. However, Lecter denies that he murdered her. Instead, he explains that she was found in a posed position and the victim's real name was Belgian, who was actually a young male patient of his. Lecter then offers Clarice a deal. He will help her catch Buffalo Bill, but in exchange, he demands a transfer to a more comfortable facility, as he claims that Dr. Chilton has been torturing him. Meanwhile, Buffalo Bill is seen abducting a young woman named Catherine, cleverly kidnapping her. The next day, the police discover a body of another young woman named Credit, who has been killed in the same manner as Buffalo Bill's previous victims. It's revealed that Buffalo Bill kidnaps his victims and keeps them alive for 3 days, torturing them before ultimately killing them and skinning their bodies. Afterward, he discards the remains. A horrific discovery is made when the body of a woman named Redica is found, badly mutilated, with an unusual and grotesque mark on her face. The investigation leads Clarice to discover that the mark on the victim's face is likely from a rare Asian insect. This clue suggests the possibility that Buffalo Bill may have imported the insect from another region, possibly to keep his victims alive longer, as these insects are known to be very careful in their care. The next scene takes us to Buffalo Bill's home, which is filled with strange and unsettling items like women's clothing, butterfly motifs, and even a well where the sounds of a young woman screaming can be heard. Meanwhile, the police are working tirelessly to locate the kidnapped girl, Catherine, who turns out to be the daughter of a senator. The search intensifies, with Clarice being drawn back to Lecter for advice. She proposes a deal to him. If he helps capture Buffalo Bill, the senator will arrange for Lecter's transfer to a better facility. Lecter, ever the manipulator, demands that Clarice reveal one of her personal secrets in exchange for his help. After some hesitation, Clarice opens up. She confesses that when she was a child, her mother passed away, and by the time she was 10 years old, her father was also murdered. This left her orphaned, and the trauma of those events shaped her life. After Clarice's confession, Hannibal gives her a reference to the cocoon, explaining how a cocoon transforms into a butterfly. He suggests that, like the cocoon, Buffalo Bill wishes to transform himself, specifically into a woman. Hannibal believes that Buffalo Bill tried to undergo gender reassignment surgery, but was likely rejected, leading him to take matters into his own hands and become a woman on his own. Meanwhile, Dr. Chilton, who is secretly listening to Hannibal and Clarice's conversation through a hidden microphone, plans to take all the credit for rescuing Catherine. He believes that if he can save Catherine, he will be hailed as a hero. In the next scene, Buffalo Bill is seen applying lotion to Catherine's body. The next day, Dr. Chilton visits Hannibal again and tries to manipulate him into giving up more information about Buffalo Bill. He promises that if Hannibal helps him catch Buffalo Bill, he will have the opportunity to leave the facility. Hannibal reveals the first name of Buffalo Bill, Louis, but insists on revealing the full name only in front of the senator. Soon after, Hannibal is brought before the senator, and Clarice is removed from the case. Hannibal, in front of the senator, provides the full name of Buffalo Bill, Louis Friend, and reveals that he had met Buffalo Bill through a patient named Belgium. Following this, Dr. Chilton takes credit for getting the information from Hannibal about Buffalo Bill, speaking proudly in front of the media about his accomplishment. But soon, Clarice receives new information from a Chinese soldier about Louis Friend. The soldier reveals that the name Louis Friend is a reference to iron sulfide, also known as fool's gold. This indicates that Hannibal had misled everyone, providing incorrect information on purpose. Hannibal then demands more cigarettes in exchange for more information. Clarice agrees but insists on telling him more of her personal past. She recalls an incident from her childhood when she lived with her uncle. One night she heard screaming from inside the house and rushed downstairs to find several people cutting up the furniture. In an attempt to save a lamp, she opened the door, but the frightened people couldn't escape. In her panic, she grabbed one of them and tried to flee but was caught, and the person was killed. Clarice is finally asked to reveal her deepest secret. Just as she is about to speak, Dr. Chilton arrives to remove her from the room, but before she leaves, Hannibal seems to leave her with a final warning. Hannibal, while handing over Buffalo Bill's file, tells them that the true identity is hidden within it. Later, when officers bring food to Hannibal, he attacks them and frees himself. When the other officers arrive, they find one officer's body hanging and severely injured. However, he is still alive. Hannibal, having taken the officer's gun, escapes. Soon after, an ambulance arrives and takes the injured officer away. The search for Hannibal intensifies. Blood drips from a list on the table, and upon checking, the officers discover a glass. It turns out that Hannibal had cut off the officer's face and wore it to escape in the ambulance. The police inform Clarice and her team that Hannibal has escaped. They believe he might target the officer, but Clarice knows Hannibal would never do that. She begins going through Buffalo Bill's file and finds a note with all the locations and times of his crimes. It's revealed that Retica was Buffalo Bill's first victim, but her body was found in a location far from her hometown, indicating Buffalo Bill knew her personally. Fearing capture, he disposed of her body far away and some time after killing her. Clarice then visits Retica's friend's house and finds a photo of Retica wearing only garments and a thick layer of makeup. She also finds a dress belonging to Retica with a diamond cut in the back. Clarice contacts her colleague and informs him that Buffalo Bill is making a woman's suit from the skin of his victims, specifically targeting fuller-figured women. He keeps them starved for days so their skin loosens, and then he kills them and easily removes their skin. However, Clarice's team disregards this finding and heads to Chicago in pursuit of Buffalo Bill, but they find nothing. During this time, Clarice meets Redica's friend, who gives her more information about a man named Lipman. Meanwhile, Buffalo Bill has successfully transformed into a woman and finished his suit, but he still needs a little more skin. His next victim is Catherine, and he plans to kill her. Catherine, however, is smart enough to grab Buffalo Bill's dog and threatens to kill it. Just as Buffalo Bill's doorbell rings, tension builds. Clarice arrives at Buffalo Bill's house, where she asks him about Lipman. Buffalo Bill claims he bought the house from Lipman. Clarice, noticing the layout of the house, begins to suspect something. Before she can apprehend him, Buffalo Bill runs inside and locks himself in. Inside the house, Clarice finds Catherine. She tells her to stay put because she needs to catch Buffalo Bill first. Buffalo Bill then shuts off all the lights in the house and, wearing night vision goggles, attempts to kill Clarice. However, due to her quick reflexes, Clarice shoots and kills Buffalo Bill before he can harm her. Later, Clarice is awarded a medal for her bravery. As she receives the honor, she gets a phone call from Hannibal. He asks her if the lamp has been turned off, referring to his metaphorical game with her. Hannibal then tells Clarice that he's not going to let her find him. Clarice, now aware of the constant danger, responds that she cannot promise she won't look for him. In the final scene of the movie, we see Hannibal targeting Dr. Chilton, making it clear that the story is far from over. The movie ends with this ominous tone, leaving the future uncertain. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into The Silence of the Lambs. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest movie recaps. Also, feel free to share your thoughts about the movie in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay tuned for more awesome content.